So, think about a time you might have been totally alone, maybe late at night, looking up at the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you ever get that, that weird feeling like being incredibly small, but also somehow part of it all?
Oh, absolutely. That mix of awe and, yeah, smallness. I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, that's kind of the feeling we're diving into today. It comes from this personal reflection by Tarek called The Camino Within.
That was really compelling about Tarek's piece, I think, for our deep dive. It's just how personal it is. It's not some instruction manual, right?
Not at all.
Or, a scholarly thing. It's just one guy's really spontaneous experience on a pilgrimage gives us a unique angle on some pretty big ideas.
Exactly. So our mission here, it isn't just to recount what happened to Tarek that night. We
No.
really want to dig into what he felt he discovered, during this solo trip that he wasn't even planning on.
Yeah, what can we take away from it? About our own paths, maybe, where we're headed.
Precisely. So let's paint the picture. You're just hanging out, maybe playing cards like he was,
Okay, casual evening.
and someone just says, completely off the cuff, "Hey, fancy joining us for an overnight pilgrimage? Full moon tonight."
Wow. Just like that. That's how it started for Tarek. Sounds almost made up, doesn't it?
It really does. Have
Yeah.
you ever had something like that just pop up?
Maybe not quite that adventurous, but yeah, those unexpected moments.
And what really grabbed me in his story was that he hesitated at first. He said he almost laughed it off.
Didn't take it seriously.
Right. It wasn't some big planned spiritual journey. It was just a split-second choice to say yes to something totally random that requires a certain, openness.
It really does. And that spontaneity, that lack of planning, it really sets the stage for everything that happens next.
Oh, so?
Well, he starts off with the group, right?
Yeah.
These other pilgrims, they're walking.
Okay.
But Tarek's on a bike. So naturally, he gets ahead. And at some point, he just decides, okay, I'm going to keep going. Alone.
Ah, okay. So he peels off from the group.
Exactly. It's this shift, isn't it? From being part of a collective thing to being utterly alone in the dark.
Right. So picture it. It's like 1:30 a.m. He's cycling along this pilgrim path he doesn't really know that well, all by himself.
Wow.
He even admits he wasn't totally sure where he was. And he describes the first feeling as eerily relaxing, which, yeah, I can kind of imagine that deep quiet.
Mm-hmm. The stillness.
But then, reality kicks in. The tiredness starts creeping up on him. Have you ever felt that? That initial calm giving way to just being alone and maybe a bit exposed?
Oh, for sure. That kind of edge between peace and vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's often where interesting things happen internally, isn't it?
I think so.
Being alone like that, especially
Yeah.
when you're tired, it can really sharpen your senses. Your thoughts get louder, maybe.
Yeah. What about his description of the night itself? What stood out for you there?
Oh, the sensory stuff was amazing. He talks about the sky being crystal clear.
Just a few clouds, he said. Wisps.
Right. And then this full blanket of stars. Not just a few pinpricks, but this overwhelming presence.
Makes you think of those moments when nature just stops you in your tracks, right?
Totally. And what's really cool is how the night itself sort of guided him. The moon was apparently so bright.
He didn't even need his bike light.
Exactly. Just used a little backlight, so maybe someone coming up behind
Yeah.
could see him.
That detail, it really says something about the intensity of the natural light, like being bathed in it.
Yeah, almost held by it.
Okay, so then comes this really key moment. He stops his bike. He pulls out his scallop shell.
Ah, the scallop shell, the Camino symbol.
Right. For listeners who might not know, it's a traditional emblem for pilgrims on the Camino de Santiago. He picked his out earlier.
Okay.
And there, under this bright moonlight, he looks at it and has this sudden, major realization.
Yes. The image is so clear, isn't it? He says, the lines on my shell all led to the same point.
Such a simple observation. Almost childlike.
But in that context, alone, middle of the night, stars everywhere. It hits him like this big metaphor.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of those moments where something simple suddenly feels incredibly profound?
Absolutely. Those aha moments, they often feel so obvious afterwards, don't they?
Totally. And he mentions, people had told him the religious meaning, the history of the shell.
That this was different.
Yeah, this was his message revealed right then and there. For him, that shell suddenly represented all the different ways you can go through life.
Mm-hmm. All the different paths.
But they all end up converging, leading to the same single destination. What do you make of that interpretation?
Well, if you think about your own life, right? The choices made, the turns taken.
Yeah.
It's probably not been a straight line like the different routes on the actual Camino pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Tarek's idea is that despite all that variety, all those different journeys.
We're all heading to the same place anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He puts it very directly. He says, in the end, we all arrive in the same spot.
And he names it too, doesn't hold back. From dust we came, and to dust we shall return.
It's fundamental, isn't it? That cycle of life. It probably feels extra real when you're alone under a huge night sky.
Definitely. Every single line on his shell, no matter where it started on the surface, it pointed towards that same end.
Which leads to a really big question for us then. If the final stop is the same for everyone,
Regardless of how we get there.
then what's the point of the journey itself? What actually matters? And Tarek has a pretty powerful answer.
He does, and it feels quite liberating, I thought. He basically says, live your life in any way you want as long as you live it happy.
Simple as that.
His thinking is, well, if the end point is fixed, why not focus on making the part you're actually living, the unique part? Something joyful, something special.
Why not make something special of the part that's uniquely yours? That's the quote, right?
Yeah. How does that land with you? Does it make you think differently about your own choices?
It certainly pulls the focus away from just like achieving some distant goal, doesn't it?
Right.
And puts it squarely on the quality of the now, the happiness you find along the way,
Yeah.
embracing your specific path.
Then things take another turn. Dawn is starting to break.
Okay, the night is ending.
He stops the bike again, takes in the view, the sky lightening up, feels a fresh breeze, and boom.
What happens?
This memory hits him. Super vivid, really traumatic, from when he was a kid in Lebanon.
Oh, wow.
He was attacked, beaten up. He was only 5 years old. Have you ever had a memory just flood back like that completely out of nowhere?
Yeah, it happens. The mind is a strange thing. But what's really striking here isn't just the memory popping up.
What is it?
It's how he reacted to it this time. He makes a point of saying it didn't bring the same horror, the same sharp pain it used to.
Ah, so something was different.
Something had definitely shifted. It's almost like that night, the solitude, the stars, that whole experience gave him a new perspective on this old trauma.
He uses this phrase that the pain seemed to dissolve into the night. Like it lost its grip on him, its power to haunt him. That's a huge image of release, isn't it? Healing, maybe?
Absolutely. Do you think the pilgrimage itself, the weird circumstances, played a part in that?
It feels like it must have, right? Being away from normal life, that intense solitude, the connection with nature, maybe it just created the right space.
Could be. A space to process things differently. It's a good reminder that stepping outside our usual routines can sometimes help with old baggage.
And this experience leads him to another kind of realization, this feeling that he wasn't actually alone out there.
Okay.
He felt the sense of a guardian angel, he calls it.
Interesting.
He says it's something he'd kind of always felt, but he felt it strongest during hard times or when he was really searching for answers. Like he woke up to it during that night.
That's a very personal take, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spiritual, maybe.
It definitely feels that way.
It points to that, that human desire for connection, maybe a sense of something bigger than just us,
Yeah.
especially when things get tough.
Makes you think about times maybe you felt some kind of unseen support.
For sure.
So after all this intensity, the shell insight, the memory, the angel feeling, he gets back on the bike,
Right. Got to finish the ride.
cycles until morning comes, grabs some breakfast, then sleeps for like 5 hours straight.
Exhausted, I bet.
Totally. And his description of how he felt right after, it's so blunt and honest, just 2 words: dirty, amazing.
Dirty, amazing. That contrast, it captures it perfectly, doesn't it?
It really does, the physical grime and exhaustion, but also this profound inner shift. It wasn't just a bike ride.
Clearly not. It was way deeper.
And all of this whole unexpected journey, it boils down to one key takeaway for him.
Which is?
He says, when making decisions, choose the path driven by your dreams instead of your comfort.
That brings it all together, doesn't it?
Yeah. How do you see that connecting back to the shell and the whole experience?
Well, if the end point is the same anyway, like the shell suggested, then the quality of the journey becomes paramount. And for him, the best quality comes from following your dreams, your deep aspirations, even if it means leaving your comfort zone.
Like he did by saying yes to that crazy invitation.
Exactly. It's a call to action, really. Embrace the uncertainty if it's in pursuit of something that truly lights you up.
So we've taken this deep dive today into Tarek Ryman's The Camino Within, his really unique solo night on that pilgrim path.
Yeah, we followed him from that spontaneous start.
Through the quiet darkness, the big insight with the scallop shell.
That sudden memory surfacing and the feeling of not being alone.
It's quite a journey packed into one night.
It really is. And as we kind of wrap up, thinking about Tarek's experience, especially that idea about all paths leading to the same end, maybe a question for everyone listening is this. Considering that perspective, what's one path, maybe driven by a dream you have that you feel drawn to explore?
Even if it feels a bit scary, outside the usual routine.
Yeah, especially then maybe. What's that dream-driven path for you?
It's a great final thought, and it really underscores the power of just personal experience, personal interpretation.
Absolutely. You don't always need a grand plan.
Yeah.
Profound insights can pop up in the simplest moments, can't they?
Like a solo bike ride under the stars. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.